Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and others. Today we are going to be going through my art process on this beautiful drawing you are seeing in front of us. So let's get right into it. I started off with the sketch, which ended up being the line art, as usual, considering I do not do clean line art because my art style just decided to not work with it for some reason. I've been trying to figure out how to do line art and how to get better at it, so I apologize for how crazy this line art is. I was building off sort of giving her more of a goth look. At the time of making this drawing, I wasn't super used to adding details, so the outfit will be a bit blank. And I also wasn't very used to drawing hands. And the fact that you keep seeing the number 17 on the side is not code for anything, it's just me trying to remember the line art number. Even though I am fully capable of remembering it, my little brain apparently needed to write it down. So next I started off with the legs, and started, of course, struggling with the shoes, because shoes are hard. So I will most likely need to do a study on that. I finally figured them out after a while, and started on the other hand, which clearly didn't take as much time. Then I started out with the background and walls. I was going to do a cityscape behind her, but I had no idea how to do a cityscape, so it was sort of just a jumble of buildings. Then I started drawing all the koi fish on the walls that are sort of like alive, but like not. The idea was to have that the walls were like ginormous fish tanks, holding these fish, these koi fish. They may look like goldfish, they are not goldfish. But I didn't put anything to really differentiate that it wasn't a goldfish, so I can't really blame anyone for thinking it was one. But I found a really cool brush and started putting it against the walls because I was like, ooh, this is pretty, I like it. And I was like, ooh, shiny things. But that's my brain for you. So I started to do the koi fish and the bubbles with sort of like a lining on top. The fish were a lot harder to do than I had anticipated, because I hadn't drawn a koi fish at all before this point, and now my room is covered in them because I painted them literally everywhere. Half of them are not in fact finished, but I continued to go on with trying to shade them and add colors in, and I was clearly not really understanding what I was doing with these specific colors, so I sort of just started experimenting on what I could do with them. Sort of mixing the reds and the oranges with little tiny dots, and then getting like an in-between color and then shading it in instead of just using a shading brush. But that's on me, since I didn't think about it at the time. And also, I don't know why I didn't use references for the fish themselves, because that would have been a lot more helpful than just drawing some goldfish and not realizing it. But at this point, I had started to do the bubbles and work on the background a bit more. At some point, I decided to add in some fog, just to make it more like, I guess my younger self would have been like, ah yes, it's dynamic. I don't think that's what it is specifically, but it is very pretty. I then started to work on painting the woman in the middle. And believe me, her helmet took me so long, it was ridiculous. I had no idea what I was doing wrong, and then I realized that the add layer doesn't really work with white, because I don't know why, it just doesn't like working with it. But at this point, I was pretty much done with the process. All I was doing was coloring in the jewelry and adding little details to piece it all together, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you've enjoyed looking at this beautiful piece of art and listening to me ramble. And I hope you have a beautiful day.